What's next? Okay, number 5. Number 5 is what is next. Okay, so I'm going to read out number 5. Lead researcher Dr. Megan Klabunda said, "It is important that people who work with traumatized youth consider the sex differences." So important for people who worked with traumatized blank, blank, blank. Are there any responses here? What do you guys think? All right. So, and let's also do number 6 while we're waiting. Number 6. Our findings suggest it is possible that boys and girls could exhibit different trauma symptoms and that they might benefit from different approaches to treatment. They might benefit from blank, blank, blank. Okay. And a T. Okay. So I've given you guys some hints. All right. So somebody has said youth consider. Good. So youth consider the. Okay. So what does consider mean? So it kind of means to think carefully. Consider. All right. So let's take a look. And number 6, any thoughts? Any responses? I don't see anyone writing. That's okay. So what I was looking for here was they might benefit from different approaches to. Different approaches to. Approaches to. All right. Okay. So I think there is a problem with this. I'm not sure if anyone can see me or hear me or if I'm just talking to myself. I am going to be right back. So pardon me if I disappear off the screen for a moment. The TV screen suddenly changed to another video from another date, so I can't see anybody's comments anymore. And I'm not sure if it's still recording me or not. Thanks. Should I keep going? Okay. All right. I am unsure if anyone is watching me right now or not, but if there is a problem, we are currently fixing it, and I should be able to see your comments again soon. All right. Thank you for waiting, guys. So we're going to get back to it. So I am going to erase this, and we're going to move on. Okay. All right. I see me popping back up on the screen again. Woohoo! I think we're fixed. Thank you, techies. Okay. So moving on. Let's do number 7. Number 7. And number 8, number 9, number 10, number 11, and number 12. Okay. Alrighty, so number 7, the research, blank, 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 blank. 4 words, oh my goodness. Okay, so this is a bit of a longer one. Did you guys get this one? I'm going to read it out one more time, but I'm going to read it quickly. So good luck. Try to guess what the blanks are. The research focused on a part of the brain that deals with emotions and empathy, called the insula. All right, so let's see if you can fill in the blanks. Blank, blank, blank. I'm not going to put the blank here because it's only one letter, so there's no point. All right, and number 8, let's see, what do we have? The smaller the insula, the more likely it is that someone will suffer from PTSD. The smaller the insula, the more blank, 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 blank. Okay, another 4-word phrase. All right, I wish you luck. So L-I-I-T. Let's see. Any thoughts? Any ideas? Can anyone guess this one? All right, so I see, number 7, someone said focused on a part of the brain. Focused on a part of the brain. Good. All right. And how about number 8? Any thoughts? Okay. So, no thoughts yet, but that is okay. Okay, so the smaller the insula is, the more likely it is that someone will suffer from PTSD. Okay, so basically the scientists were looking at the brain. Now I don't know where the insula is. I think it's somewhere. Let's pretend the insula is here. And this helps, deal with stress. So if your insula is small, then you're more likely to get PTSD. But if your insula is larger, you will maybe not get PTSD. So, and it turns out that in girls, the insula is smaller. And in boys who got stressed, the insula was bigger. So when girls experience stress, when they get PTSD or when they get stressed, their insula gets smaller. So it's different the way girls and guys' insulas may work. Interesting. Okay, let's do number 9 and number 10. Researchers discovered that the insula was particularly small in girls who had gone through a traumatic experience. Okay, so just 2 words here. Researchers discovered that the insula was blank, blank small. So P, oops, no, not P, sorry. W and P. Okay, and number 10. So it was larger than usual in boys who had experienced a distressing, shocking, or frightening event. So it was bigger in boys who experienced a distressing, shocking, or blank, blank, blank. So 3 words here. O-F-E. Those are the hints I have for you. All right, so any thoughts on what number 9 is? Anybody? Somebody? Okay, so no answers. So the answer here was the insula was particularly small. Particularly small. Okay, and how about number 10? Any answers? Someone said frightening event. Nice. So, or frightening. Frightening. That is another way to say scary. A frightening event. All right. Good. Nice job, guys. Okay, almost done. So, number 11. Post-traumatic stress disorder is a mental disorder that can develop after traumatic events, such as sexual assault, warfare, traffic collisions, or threats on a person's life. All right, so 3 words here. S-A-S, science. All right, so that is number 11. And let's see, number 12. Symptoms may include disturbing or suicidal thoughts, nightmares related to the events, and alterations to how a person thinks or feels. All right, I'm gonna put number 12 up here. Okay, number 12. So, blank, blank, blank. A-A-T. Okay, so This is it. This is our last one, guys. Our last two fill in the blanks. Let's see if you can get it. Alrighty. So what's the answer to number 11? Post-traumatic stress disorder is a mental disorder that can develop after traumatic events. Not seeing any answers. Going once? Going twice? All right, so the answer I was hoping for was such as sexual assault. Okay, not a very nice word. Yeah, not a very nice thing to talk about. So, sexual assault, warfare, traffic collision. So that a traffic collision, that's a traffic crash. That's when two cars crash together. Collision. I'll write that down under new words. Collision. It is a noun. Have you ever been in a traffic collision? I haven't, luckily, and I hope I never will. Okay, so number 12, last one. Okay, someone wrote alterations to. Nice. Don't forget and alterations to. So what are alterations? Alteration means changes. Okay. Alteration. So that means a change. So essentially, post-traumatic stress disorder. So it is a mental disorder. So that means like a mental health thing. It happens in your brain. So when something really scary or super stressful happens, like war or a car collision, like you get really, really stressed. And so some symptoms, are things that happen when you get ill. So what's going to happen? Suicidal thoughts. Not a very nice thing, another very unhappy topic to talk about, but that is when you want to die. Nightmares. So that's when you're sleeping and maybe you dream about the traffic collision. It's very hard for you to sleep. And alterations to how a person thinks and feels. So that means the way you think, the way you feel, it changes. You might become a new person. So PTSD is pretty scary. So yeah, that is our article. What do you think? Was it interesting to learn about the different way boys and girls relate to stress or react to stress? You can let me know in the comments. All right, guys, so now that we're done this, we're gonna do the true or false section. So 50-50 chance of getting it correct. Woo! Okay, we'll get rid of this. All right, and true or false. Okay. True or false. Okay, so we have 8 questions. So all you have to do is write true or false. And if it is false, I'd like you to tell me why. Why is it false? Okay, you think you can do that? I know you can. Okay, so let's begin. Number 1, the research was from Oxford University in the United Kingdom. True or false? The research was done at Oxford University in the UK. So look at the first sentence. A study from Stanford University in the USA. Okay, so that means it's going to be false. So number 1 is false. So why is it false? Because it says Stanford University in the USA. So it's a completely different country, completely different university. So that's all you have to do, okay? All right, let's do number 2. You ready? The research says girls are more likely to suffer from PTSD. True or false? What do you guys think? Girls are more likely to suffer from PTSD. So bring in your answers now. So go ahead, just type in true or false. And I'm also going to read out question 3. But please answer question 2 in the meantime. Boys and girls should be treated differently from stress. True or false? So boys and girls should be treated differently. You think this is true or false when it comes to stress? Somebody wrote true for number 2. Yes, you are correct. Thank you. Yes, girls are more likely to get PTSD than boys. That is indeed true. What about number 3? Any thoughts for that? All right, and I'm going to read out number 4 in the meantime. Boys and girls show different symptoms when stressed. True or false? So symptoms, so that means like, nightmares or, maybe sweats. So is that true or false? Okay, so someone wrote true for number 3. Yes, that's right. So boys and girls should be treated differently. And number 4, yes, true. Good. So in the article, it says, our findings suggest it's possible that boys and girls could have different trauma symptoms, and they might benefit from different treatment. So yeah, these are both true. Because girls and boys, they have different different symptoms. So different treatment might be a good idea. All right, now, number 5. The research focused on a part of the brain that deals with trauma. True or false? The research focused on a part of the brain that deals with trauma. And number 6, a part of the brain called the insula was bigger in girls. True or false? Okay. Don't see any answers for number 5. If you can't answer number 5, maybe you could do number 6. Number 5 is a bit tricky. So the answer here I was looking for, most likely false. They were actually dealing with a part of the brain that deals with emotions and empathy. That's the part of the brain they were focusing on. Emotions and empathy. Emotions and empathy. Do you guys know what empathy is? So empathy is how you relate to other people. So for example, if you talk to somebody and they say, hey, they go, hey, how you doing? And they might go, yeah, I'm okay. Well, I'm pretty sad. My dog died and I'm really upset about it. So if you show empathy, you could say, I'm so sorry to hear that. That must be really awful. You want to tell me about it? So that is empathy. So when you're showing, you kind of show kindness and respect to someone, especially when they're feeling down and sad. Empathy is a very good thing. It's a very important thing in humans, I think. Empathy. So that's the noun. And you can call someone empathetic. That's the adjective form, empathetic. Okay, so number 6, somebody wrote true. Yeah, not quite. Good try, but the answer is actually false. Good try though, thank you. So why is it false? It says a part of the brain called the insula is bigger in girls, but it's false. What was the actual information? So why is this false? Yes, thank you very much. Someone said it's smaller in girls. Smaller in girls. Okay. Now, I want to emphasize, just because something in the brain, the insula, just because it's smaller in girls, doesn't mean they're more stupid than boys. This simply just means they deal with trauma differently. That's all. So this is not a story about who's smarter than the other. Absolutely not. This is how we deal with stress and trauma. Okay, last 2 questions. Number 7. PTSD is a physical disorder. True or false? Okay, you know what physical is? Physical means dealing with the body, like, your arms, your legs. So, for example, if I break my arm, that is a physical injury. What about PTSD, like when you have trauma? Is that physical or is it something else? Yes, someone said false. Thank you. So PTSD is not a physical disorder. What is it? Why is this false? It is, somebody said mental. Yes, very good. Thank you. It is a mental disorder. So it happens in the brain. It's very different from breaking your arm or breaking your jaw or breaking your nose or something. Okay, so last one, number 8. Symptoms of PTSD include having suicidal thoughts. True or false? So suicidal thoughts, those are thoughts of killing yourself, potentially triggering very unhappy things. But is this a symptom of PTSD? True or false? What do you guys think? Someone said true. Excellent. Very good. Nice. Good job, guys. It is indeed true. Yes, symptoms can include thoughts of suicide as well as other things. All right. Holy moly, look at the time. Sorry, I did not get through that nearly quick enough. My bad. Okay. But we got through half of it, so that's fine. Now, I was hoping to do the comprehension. Unfortunately, we're pretty much coming up to our second break though, so I don't think we're gonna have time for comprehension. We can try though, we can try. Okay, so I'm going to erase the true or false. Let's get rid of that. And I'm gonna get rid of that stressed out girl. Okay. Okay, maybe we can do one comprehension. Comprehension. Okay. So let's do number 1. We'll do an easy-ish one. Which university carried out the research for this article? Which university? Something university. Okay, so there's half the answer. What's the name of the university? And maybe we could do number 2 as well, actually. What do stressful events affect differently in boys and girls? So stressful events affect something differently in boys and girls. What is that thing it affects? So we could start saying stressful events affect something differently. What do you think the answer is here? Someone said Stanford University for number 1. Thank you, very good. This did happen at Stanford University in the UK. And number 2, so stressful events affect the insula. So remember, it's that part of the brain that deals with emotions and empathy. So that was the answer, insula. Okay, guys, so we went a little bit over time. My apologies. It is now time for us to take our second break, and then we are going to do our elective class after. So have a nice 10-minute break, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye. pause there. Okay, so here we are with our last class today. So, what are we going to talk about? We are going to be doing Breaking News English, so it's going to be a short little reading article. So, let's take a look. Denmark is the best place to raise kids. So, where is Denmark? You guys know where Denmark is? That's right, it is in Europe, specifically Northern Europe, or an area also known as Scandinavia. So Scandinavia is countries like Sweden, Finland, Norway, Denmark. They're just above, Germany and that area. So apparently Denmark is the best place to raise kids. When you saw this title, how did you feel? Were you surprised? Or did you expect that? Were you like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Denmark is the best place to raise kids in the world. What were your thoughts when you read this title? You can type out your thoughts below. When I saw this title, personally, I was not very surprised. Denmark and Scandinavia, like this whole area, generally gets very high ratings in terms of like world happiness, living conditions, education. So when I read this title, I was not surprised at all. So yeah, congratulations to Denmark. Woohoo! Best place to raise kids. Okay, so what we're gonna do is, actually, let's make this a little fun. Let's do a little guessing game. So apparently Denmark is the best place to raise kids. So Denmark sits at number 1. Denmark. Which countries do you think are number 2 and number 3? Without looking at the article, just think. No cheating. So what do you think is number 2? Where is the second best place to raise kids? And where is the third best place to raise kids in the world? Type in your answers now. So don't worry if you're not correct. I'm not gonna patronize you or anything. Yeah, but it'll be fun to see if you guys guess. What do you think? What about Canada? Or how about the United States? Or maybe one of the other countries close to Denmark, like Sweden or Finland? All is quiet on the front. I'm not seeing any thoughts. What do you think? Okay, well, for funsies, I'm gonna put down Canada because I'm a Canadian. And I hope Canada is a good place to raise kids. And what else? Let's choose another country. I think Finland would also be a nice place to raise kids. Okay, so these are my guesses. I don't know if they're right or not. Well, I do, but let's pretend I don't. So if you have any other ideas, definitely feel free to type them, and then I'd be happy to put them up on the board. Everything's looking pretty quiet so far, though, but no worries. Okay, so I'm going to read over the article just one time. So we're going to read over it. If there's any words that you don't understand, you can let me know, okay? Alrighty, here we go. Denmark is the best country to raise kids. 18th of January, 2020. Oh, this year. Excuse me, sorry. Scandinavia has ranked as the best place in the world to raise children. The Nordic region holds the top 3 places on the U.S. News and World Report's list of the best countries for raising kids in 2020. The list has been compiled annually, that means every year, since 2016 in collaboration with the University of Pennsylvania. Denmark topped the list, oh, here we go, with Sweden, a close runner-up. And Neighbor Norway edging out Canada for third place. Oh no. Okay, so Canada did not make it. Almost made it. Okay, so who did we have for second place? What was there? Sweden was second place. So Sweden is the next best place to raise your kids. And number 4, not Canada, but it was Norway. Okay, and it wasn't Finland either. Oh, darn. Okay, all these countries, they are in North Europe. They're very close to each other. Surprised Finland didn't make it. Okay. All right. The 2020 listings will come as little surprise as the 3 nations also ranked highest on the list for 2019. A spokeswoman explained, these countries tend to have generous paternal leave and maternal leave, offer free preschool, and have good overall public education systems. Okay, so do you guys know what paternity and maternity leave are? So I'll put some new words here. New words. Okay, I'm gonna add annual because I think that's a good word. So annual means every year. So this is competition, I guess. But this is a survey held every year, annually. All right, and then we have paternal and maternal leave. So what does this mean? So when you have a baby, often, usually maternal leave is when the mother can take time off and she gets money. She can still receive money from work, a little bit of money while she takes care of her baby. And paternal, that means father. So in these countries, not only the mother, but the father can take time off from work and still get money to help raise a baby. That's really nice. I think more countries need to have paternity and maternity leave. Okay, so, and what else? Oh, they have free preschool. You guys know what preschool is, right? So preschool, usually that is ages maybe 2 to 5 years old, typically, sometimes younger. But yeah, preschool, that is before you go to elementary school. And it's free. Oh my gosh. It's hard to find a free preschool in Canada. Okay, let's move on to the second paragraph. The listing was released as part of the annual Best Countries list. This survey adopted a global perceptions-based approach in examining data and attitudes. Okay, so there's a lot of long words here. So perception. So this is a noun. Perception is how you view things, how you look at things. So, for example, I think most people have a very good perception of these 3 countries. Have a great perception of these countries. So because these countries, they get paternity leave, maternity leave, free healthcare, free school, many people have a very good perception. They view these countries as very great places. So this is another way, like perceive, to look at things, to understand things. Okay, and attitudes. What's an attitude? Attitude. So this is a noun. So attitude is the way you think of things. It's how you feel about something. So for example, when I was in high school, I had a very bad attitude about math. I hated math. I thought it was stupid and useless. So I had a very bad attitude, bad thoughts towards math. Okay, so basically, this survey, it happens every year, and it's testing people's attitudes and thoughts on different countries, asking which countries are the best place to live, Where's the best country to raise your children? So that's how they got the data for this survey. So it used research from the World Bank as well as the opinions of 20,000 people in the Americas, Asia, Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. Researchers tested countries against 65 different metrics, or what the researchers called country attributes. Okay, so it sounds like 65 countries were tested against one another. These attributes included income equality, well-developed public education and healthcare systems, human rights, gender equality, safety, family friendliness, and levels of perceived happiness. All right, so perceived happiness, that's similar to perception. So how happy people seem, that's what it means. Switzerland once again topped the best countries list. Ooh, followed by Canada and Japan. Woo! Canada made the best countries list. That's pretty awesome. Okay, so that was a different thing at the end. This is different from the best country to raise kids. This last one was best countries to live in. Okay. All right, so that is the article. And I'm not seeing any comments pop up, so I'm guessing you guys are okay for vocabulary. If there's anything in here that you didn't quite understand, though, feel free to let me know and I can go over it, okay? So, now, let's do, more true or false. Okay, so let's quickly go through the true or false, and then after we're gonna go to synonym, and then we're gonna do discussion. Okay, so I'm going to erase this. Alrighty. So let's do A. All right. True or false? Scandinavia is part of the Nordic region. Is this true or is it false? All right, so I briefly went over Scandinavia. Okay, so if you look at the first sentence, it says, Scandinavia has ranked as the best place in the world to raise children. The Nordic region holds the top 3 places. Okay, so you heard Scandinavia and Nordic in that same sentence. So yes, it's true. Scandinavia is part of the Nordic region. So Nordic refers to North Europe. And Scandinavia involves Norway, Sweden, Denmark, and Finland. Okay, and B. The top 3 countries to raise children are in Scandinavia. True or false? I'd like you to type in the answers. Let me know, is it true or false? The top 3 countries to raise children, all in Scandinavia. Okay. And I see someone has written true. Nice. Good job. It is true. Denmark, Sweden, and Norway are the best 3 countries. They're all in Scandinavia to raise children. C. USA was 4th on the list of the best places to raise children. True or false? So we had Denmark, Sweden, Norway. Who was 4th on the list? Was it the USA? No, someone said false. Very good. It is not 4th on the list. Who was 4th on the list? Which country was 4th on the list? Did you guys catch that? Yes, it was Canada. That's right. Norway edged Canada for 3rd place, as it says in the article. Okay, D. Scandinavian countries tend to have generous paternity leave. Remember this? True or false? So the fathers can take time off and still get money to raise their babies. True or false? What do you guys think? So type in your answers, and we'll also do E. Okay. Researchers used a global perceptions approach to their report. True or false? And someone for D wrote true. Yes, that's right. Mothers and fathers get great paternal and maternal leave in the Scandinavian countries. Makes me want to move there. Okay, and E. Any thoughts? Not seeing any answers yet. Okay, let's do F. Researchers looked at metrics in 65 different countries. True or false? Any thoughts? All right, I see someone has written true for letter E. Yes, researchers did use a global perceptions approach to their report. That means they looked at many people's perceptions from around the world. They got many people's opinions. And I saw, sorry, it was E, sorry, it was here. I made a mistake, I'm sorry. But this is true. They did look at metrics from 65 different countries. That is true. Okay. And G, okay, almost done. Researchers looked at levels of unhappiness in different countries. True or false? What do you think? So researchers were looking at people who were unhappy. What do you think? Any thoughts? Okay, I'll leave that open for now. And last question, H. Switzerland was top on the best countries list. True or false? All right, so someone said false for G, and yes, that is correct. They did not look at unhappiness in countries. What did they look at? They looked at the opposite of unhappiness. They looked at, it's kind of related to this. Any thoughts? Someone said happiness. Good. Perceived happiness. So they looked at perceived happiness. They didn't look at unhappiness. Okay. And the last one. Someone wrote true for H. Yes. Very good. Switzerland was the top of the best countries list. It was number 1. Who was number 2 and who was number 3? Do you guys remember? Who was the second and who was the third best? Yes, Japan and Canada. Good, nice. Well done, good stuff, guys. Okay, now let's do the synonym match. Let's move on to this part of the exercise. So, do you guys remember what synonyms are? Synonyms are words that have similar meanings to one another. So I did explain this the other day. So for example, here is a synonym. Happiness and joy. These are synonyms. So they have a very similar meaning and they can be switched around. They're both positive, good feelings. So that's what a synonym is. All right, so let's match the synonyms. Okay, so let's see. Number 1, we have ranked. Number 2, top. And number 3, compiled. And number 4, collaboration. Let's see if you guys can match these words. All right, so what's number 1? So we have a lot of words here on the left. Let's see. Is it views, cooperation, general, contentment, ranked? What is a similar word? What do you guys think? Hopefully you have your sheet out and you're following along. What is a synonym for ranked? And what is a synonym for top? All right, so for ranked, somebody wrote rated. And yes, it is rated. Good. Well done. Rated. Okay. And so for example, yeah, Denmark is ranked the top place in the world to raise kids. Denmark is rated the best place in the world to raise kids. Doesn't matter which one you use. They have almost the same meaning. And top, synonym for top. Somebody put leading. Good, nice. All right, so for example, Switzerland took top place for best country in the world, or Switzerland took the leading place for best country in the world. Doesn't matter which one you use. Good. All right, compiled. What's the synonym for compiled? And the synonym for collaboration. Do you guys have any thoughts? Compiled. All right, someone wrote assembled. Good, nice. Assembled. So this basically means to collect and to put together. So whenever you write a research paper, you have to compile a lot of information or assemble a lot of information. Nice, okay. Collaboration, someone wrote cooperation, very good. Cooperation, cooperation. All right, so this basically means working together with people. So here at GC, we have a lot of projects that require student collaboration or student cooperation. Students have to work together. Okay, number 5, we have overall. Overall. Number 6, released. All right. So, number 5, overall. What is a synonym for overall? And what is a synonym for released? What do you guys think? So someone wrote general. Yes, good job. General, you got it. General. All right, so yeah, these can usually be used all together. And released, I don't see any thoughts yet. So let's say, for example, oh, my favorite comic book got released 2 years ago. Issued, good. Yes, my favorite comic book was issued 2 years ago. Nice. All right, good stuff. Okay, so I'm going to erase this and we can write down the last 4 questions. Okie dokie. How are we doing for time? Okay, we got about 25 minutes left. Doing good, doing good. Anybody getting hungry yet? My stomach is growling. Oh my goodness. Okay. Whew. Number 7. Okay. Oh, attitudes. I talked to you guys about that earlier. Attitudes. Number 8. Equality. Oh no, sorry. Attributes. Attributes. Number 9. Equality. Equality. And 10. Happiness. Happiness. Okay. All done. Anyone got a synonym for attitudes? What do you think? Attitudes. Do you remember how I explained it to you? And what about attributes? This one might be a bit trickier. I didn't really talk about attributes. For example, I'm trying to think of a good example. My older sister and my younger sister, they both have a lot of positive attributes. They have many positive attributes. Okay, somebody said views for attitudes. Good. So attitudes, views. So I told you about my attitude towards math, my view towards math. Not a very good one when I was in high school. I hated math. Okay. And someone wrote qualities. Very good. Yeah, attributes mean qualities. So my sisters have a lot of good qualities about them. They're very outgoing, they're friendly, they're strong, independent women. They have a lot of good attributes. Okay, equality. Okay, so the synonym for this is a bit funny. I almost never hear this word, but let's see if you can guess it. And happiness. So what are the synonyms for equality and happiness? What do you guys think? Oh, my water's gone. I was about to grab a sip of water, but unfortunately I misplaced my water bottle. That's okay. I'll drink later. Someone put parity for number 9. Good. Yes, parity. Again, this is a word I nearly never hear in English. I hear equality far more often. So if you're going to try and think of a word to use, opt for equality. This is not a very common word. Maybe it's more common in England. I'm not sure. Because I think this is from England. Maybe. Okay, and that means happiness is contentment. Contentment. And this is another word we don't hear too often, contentment. This is a noun, but this word is a lot more common, content. So content is similar to happy. So for example, if I have a good meal, like maybe I'm gonna have sushi for lunch, so I'll have a sushi roll and I'll feel content. Like, okay, I'm not hungry anymore, but I'm not super full. I feel good, I'm happy, I'm content. All right, good stuff, guys. I hope you were able to pick up a few new words from this exercise. Okay, we're gonna move on to the fun stuff. Discussion. Let's do discussion. So I'm gonna get rid of these. All right. Ugh. What are you guys gonna have for lunch? I still haven't decided. Sushi does sound good though. Okay. So let's do the student A part. Okay. So A, what do you think about what you read? So what do you think about this article? How do you feel? Did you feel surprised by the results? Or were you not surprised? Did you feel a little envious or jealous of how nice these countries are? Like if they got all this nice like paternity, maternity leave, free education, free health care, and like lots of vacation time. So what do you think? How did you feel about this article? What are your thoughts? I'd like you to type in your thoughts below. When I read this article, I felt a little jealous, I'm not gonna lie. It sounds like there is some very nice perks to living in Denmark, in Sweden and Norway. Free education, oh that's so nice. I would love to go to university for free and not pay money to go to university. I would love to not pay for preschool. If I ever have children, it's probably going to be difficult for me to find a free or cheap preschool in Canada. Probably I would have to pay a lot of money to send my child to preschool. Yeah, so I felt a little jealous. You know this word, right? Jealous or envious. Envious. So it means when someone has something that you don't have, you're like, I want it. That's not fair. A little bit angry. Lucky you. You got an ice cream. I didn't have an ice cream. So I feel a little bit envious towards Sweden and Denmark. Oh, you got free education. I don't get free education. Lucky. So those are my feelings. Let me know if you have any feelings about this. Oh, somebody says they feel like they want to live there. Good, yeah. Yeah, it seems like a nice place to live, hey? Okay. Okay, let's skip B. Let's go to letter C. So we're gonna do C. What do you think is the best country in the world? What do you think is the best country in the world? What's your opinion? What are your thoughts? So, I know in the article they said that Switzerland is the best country in the world. That's what they said. But do you agree with this? It's okay if you don't agree. I've never been to Switzerland, so I cannot say. But Switzerland is Very expensive. I've heard it's a very expensive country to live. To go out to eat is extremely expensive. Also, it's a very small nation, so it can't hold very many people. So I'm not sure if I totally agree with this in my personal opinion. I mean, it looks beautiful, but what do you guys think? What do you think is the best country? You can type in your answers. I can't really give an answer. There's so many good countries out there, so I'm not going to say my opinion here. But I do want to hear your opinion. Go for it. Okay. And let's do letter D. I think letter D is a good one. What are the global perceptions of your country? Okay, so this might sound a little bit funny or complicated, but it's actually a pretty, kind of an easy question. So basically, what question D is asking is, how does the world, how do other people view your country? What do they think of your country? What do they think of, if you're from, say, Korea, what do people around the world think of Korea? Do they think it's like a really great country or not so much? Like, do they think it's cheap, expensive? Do they think it's welcoming or unwelcoming? So, how does the world view your country? I'll get rid of the what. So in Canada, for example, I feel like Canada perceives. Okay, I'm going to write that under here. So this is the verb form of perception, to view. I think the world perceives Canada in a pretty positive view, like a pretty positive light. So Canada, it's a really big country. There is a lot of space and a lot of nature, a lot of clean air and water. So it could be a very healthy place to live. It can take a lot of people. Also, Canada, most people say Canada is pretty safe. Not completely safe, but it's quite safe. And usually it's pretty welcoming. Most people can immigrate to Canada without too much trouble. What about your country? Let me know in the comments. How does the world perceive your country? What do they think of your country? Okay. Let's see. We got 15 minutes left. All right, we're doing okay. Oh, best continent. Okay, let's skip E. That's a bit of a funny question. Okay, so I'm going to erase this. Okay, get this out of the way. Alrighty. F, how happy? How happy of a place is your country? So do you think your country is a very happy country? Or is it not very happy? Is it more dissatisfied? So that's a good word, dissatisfied. Satisfied. This is the opposite of satisfied. So satisfied is similar to content. Dissatisfied, you're not content. So countries that if there is a lot of dissatisfaction in the country, for example, maybe it's because there is not enough jobs, there's very little money, or maybe there's not enough food to feed the people, or maybe there is a lot of racism and people of color are having a hard time. So this can make people very angry or upset and very unhappy. So those are some things that can make some countries unhappy. But what about your country? Do you think your country is quite happy? Or is it kind of more dissatisfied? How do you feel? Write out your comments. I'd love to read them. Not seeing any comments or opinions yet, but it would be nice to see some thoughts. Okay, in Canada, I feel like overall it's a fairly happy country. I think most people seem to be pretty happy living here. Not everybody, of course. We still have some work to do. There's still some income inequality. There we go. It's another good word, income. So income is the money you get from your job. So income equality. So remember this word equality? So it's when things are equal, are the same. So income equality may still be an issue in Canada, especially for people of different races and sometimes different genders too. Like men tend to make more money than women. Men tend to have jobs in higher positions than women. So there's still income equality. Especially, and then there's a huge gap between people who get lots of money and people who don't. So there's a bit of a class disparity. It's another good word, class disparity. So this is kind of like a divide between classes. So here you have the rich, and they have like really nice, like shiny houses, big properties. And then here you have the poor. So they don't have much money. And maybe they're all cramped into a small area. So this is class disparity. There's a divide between the classes. So especially in Vancouver, this is very strong. Like you do have a lot of people who are very rich and a lot of people who are not. So this is still a bit of a problem in Canada. Yeah, but I mean, aside from some of those, and we do have a problem with racism, unfortunately, that also needs to be addressed. But overall, I think Canada is a fairly happy country for the most part. All right, still not seeing anyone's thoughts or opinions for this question. That's okay, but feel free to chime in anytime. I like to hear people's opinions. Okay. Oh, gee, this is a good question. What would you change about your country to make it better? So maybe your country's already amazing. Maybe it's a fantastic place. But what would you change to make it even better? How can you change it? What would you do if you could change one thing in your country? Let me know in the comments. For me, for example, one thing I would change, I'm going to keep it simple. I think I would try to get a better transportation system, like especially like trains, getting trains around the city more effectively. So many cities in Canada do not have a good transportation system. So we need to do better to like get more trains around the city. So that is something we really need, I think, a better transportation system. What about you guys? Let me know what you think would make your country better in the comments below. All right, 10 minutes. So we can do maybe a couple more questions. Actually, okay, let me just erase this. Get rid of all that. Okay. Okay, I think I will skip the phrase match. Maybe let's do the rest of the discussion on the other page. So we'll do that and then we'll probably finish up class. Okay, so let's do letter B. We're gonna skip A because that's not a very good question. Where do you think is the best place in the world to raise children? So I know the article said Denmark, Sweden, Norway are the best places to raise children, But maybe you don't agree with that. What do you guys think? Where do you think is the best place to raise children? Maybe you think it's your own country, or maybe it's a completely different country, like France or Australia. Who knows? What do you think is the best country to raise children? Please type out your comments below. I don't know where I think the best place to raise children. This article has me pretty convinced that, Denmark is one of the better places. I'm going to be a little bit different though. So I'm going to say Finland. So I think this is one of the best places in the world to raise children. So in schools, I hear they give very little to no homework in Finland. That's pretty awesome. Like, I know homework is supposed to help reinforce what you learned, but we're already sitting in school 6 hours a day as children. Then we got to go home and do more work. In Finland, they want children to practice hobbies and go outside and spend time with their family. So Finland really prioritizes being in the outdoors, being outside, and spending time with family. Spending time with family. So I think this is a great thing. So I kind of like Finland's education system. And Finland also gives really generous paternity and maternity leave too. So yeah, it seems like being a kid in Finland would be awesome. If you have any countries you think are the best to raise kids, let me know in the comments. All right. And let's do C. C is a very good one, I think. What is your country like for children? So what's your country like for children? Is your country a good place for children to be raised? What do you think? So I'd like you to tell me if you think your country, tell me where you're from, and tell me if your country is like a good place to raise children, or what's good about it? Why is it good, or why is it not good? So I think in Canada, personally, I think it's a pretty good place to raise children. For school, I think we put a lot of emphasis on not like Finland, we put a lot of emphasis on homework, tests, exams, just memorizing things. So I don't think the education system is the best for children in Canada personally. And preschool can be very expensive. So it can be difficult to raise children here, I think, sometimes. But it's not horrible. We spend about 6 hours in school when we're children, so not super bad, I suppose. Yeah, so I think Canada's a pretty good place to raise children overall. Let me know what you think about your country and raising children. Okay. Okay. E. Let's do E. Why are Scandinavian countries so good for children? Why are Scandinavian countries so good? So you might have to refer back to the reading to answer this one, but there's quite a few reasons why life is good for children in Scandinavia. Let's see if you can remember things from the reading. So tell me, why are Scandinavian countries so good for children? Do you remember any of the points from the reading? Any thoughts? Let's see, what were some points? What were some good things? Okay, so let's touch on this one. Yeah, generous paternity and maternity leave. Paternity, maternity leave. So I think it's very important for children to be able to be close to their parents as much as possible, especially for the first year or two when they're growing up. it's a lot of work to raise a baby. So I think this is very important. Like, and in Canada, it's kind of hard to get paternity leave. Like, it's difficult to get this sometimes. So sometimes the fathers do not see their children very much when they are young. So I think this needs to be improved a bit in Canada. Yeah, the maternity leave is pretty good here. Yeah. Okay, what were some other good things? Like, why is life so good for children in Scandinavia? What else? Someone said free preschool. Thank you. Good. Yes. Free preschool. Free preschool. All right. So here in Canada, like I said, it's difficult to find free preschools. Sometimes you can find ones that are free or very cheap, but everybody wants to put their kids in there. So you have to wait a long time to get your kid into that preschool. So usually what happens is A, the parents have to pay a lot of money to a preschool, or B, they don't take their kid to preschool. The mom usually, or one of the parents will just stay home and look after their kid while the other parent works. Because your money's just going to the preschool anyway, so there's no point. The nice thing with preschool is that it's good for children to socialize. So, I mean, free preschool would be like pretty nice. And both parents can work and save a lot of money. Win-win. So this is a problem we do have in Canada, is having enough free or cheap preschools. So Scandinavia, they've got a huge leg up ahead of us. Like, these children are going to have a very nice life. Okay, and anything else? There's one more point that makes life really good for children living in Scandinavia. What was that? Has to do with learning. That's my hint. So, why is life so good for children in Scandinavia? The last hint. To do with learning. Someone wrote good public education system. Nice. All right. Good public education system. Yeah, they do have a very good one. Our education system here is also pretty good, actually. We have a good public education system. Good public education system. All right. So this means, the schools have the proper equipment. They got good textbooks, desks. Maybe they have like computers, and the teachers are paid well. So, the teachers are not too stressed. And yeah, and like apparently sometimes they don't even have homework, which is really nice. Kind of jealous. So yeah, if you have a good public education system, like, you're going to be taken care of really well, and you're going to be able to learn a lot of things, and you're going to be able, to get into like perhaps good universities and do really well in life. So a good public education system is important for having children to have a good life. So yeah, those are the 3 main points I wanted to go over. And it looks like we are coming up to the end of our class today. All right. So this is my last day teaching you this week. Tomorrow, Alan's going to be teaching you, and I believe he's going to be helping you review for your quiz that will be coming up over the weekend. So I hope you all had a great time in class today. Thank you for tuning in and for your participation. And I hope you have a fun class with Alan tomorrow. I'll be back next Tuesday, so I will see you then. Have a great week.